some of those questions, as he's been in the industry for a very long time down here. Paul McNoe from Red Bus. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honour and councillors for the opportunity to present. Cover off. You should have a presentation in front of you that's been circulated. Just a bit of an overview. We want to sort of cover off what the issues are as we see it. So why should anybody care, frankly? What the benefits are, and then potentially how this facility might look, and kind of the impact on the wider community. So just on behalf of our customers, I'd like to start with asking you to imagine standing on Riccarton Road on kind of a reasonably rough day, where the rain's coming in and it's strong wind, and you're standing under a very small shelter where you've got no way of getting out of that condition. And I think really that's the situation which affects a large number of people in the Riccarton community who travel through. There's about 2,800 people who use those buses each day. That amounts to 1 million people each year who are transporting along that corridor. So by any description, that's a significant part of the activity for public transport within Christchurch. And I think if you look at it from a kind of holistic perspective, you've got Riccarton as being a link between the east, central and the west. And right at the present time, it is really under-resourced in terms of infrastructure and capacity. So the basic infrastructure it has there at the moment doesn't, I think, meet the customer's needs. It's not user-friendly. It's not user-friendly for buses. It's not user-friendly for people who drive along the roads associated with those. That includes cyclists. So there's relatively few amenities. There's little, if any, weather protection really. Limited space for passengers and buses. If you have a look at the stop outside of McDonald's, you'll find some planter boxes on the roadside. You'll find red paint, green paint, white paint and purple paint, where buses have at various times struck those planters as they try and get into the stop and allow their customers easy access. I think that it's a bit harsh perhaps, but I would describe the facilities in Riccarton currently as second rate. They really don't match where we'd want to be as a city, I think, and where we need to go. And particularly when you look at what's the wonderful designs that are occurring within the central city, if you then walk out of that along Riccarton Road, it's suddenly this transformation to something that really belongs back in the 50s, because that's kind of where it is, in my view. And also, passenger numbers continue to grow. I mean, we're getting 7 or 8% a year currently, and that'll continue. And when the central city comes back online, I believe it'll be a step up again. Just to reflect on those 1 million passengers, I think and I acknowledge the business owners' comments and concerns, and I think I'll kind of come to that in a minute in terms of what that might look like and what it might feel like. I just want to make the comment that each one of those individuals carries a wallet or a purse, and generally they spend in the area in which they're kind of accessing transport for all of us. The question is as who these people are, and there's a couple of images there you've got in front of you which talks about shows a bit of detail on the passenger. Sorry, I had a projection, I had a presentation to give, but I can't today. But you'll notice significantly, and this is pre-earthquake obviously, that a substantial part of the $50. So this image of poor, ne'er-do-well, socioeconomically challenged people isn't actually true. I mean, there's a whole range of people all across the range, from those who are wealthy and have vehicles and this is a means of getting around, to those who have fewer options, and this constitutes a good proposition. And I think when you look at age also, you see there's a reasonably good distribution of age travelling on. So we're not talking about, again, a particular group of individuals. It's actually the whole community, in fact, are travelling on public transport. So as I see it in terms of this proposal, the particular benefits are it's a modern, accessible space. It's got a connection between the mall and the street, so it looks like there's sort of a connection there potentially. Obviously, it's going to provide things like real-time journey information, so passengers who want to come can see, use the bus service, can see when the next bus is coming. With what's being proposed around the central city, sort of look and feel, in terms of development, and I think that's something useful. I actually quite like the idea of having a cafe as part of that proposal, or retail for that matter, because it seems to me that joins the public transport, which is actually normal, it's just not used by a lot of people, into kind of the community in a wider sense. And I think that's something valuable to encourage. And one of the failures, if you like, of the previous interchanges were they were completely isolate. They were separate from retail, separate from any other activity that might be described as kind of broadly normal. And I think finally that there's a potential there for increasing foot traffic for associated businesses in the area and through the walkway into that area. Now, I've got a couple of photographs there of a retail-based interchange from overseas. And I think that's where this proposal is really going. It's really trying to integrate the community and retail into kind of normalised public transport. And I think it's something that is well worth pursuing. Having said that, I acknowledge the concern that business owners have. I think there's an opportunity here that I say, look, how can we implement this in a way which in fact encourages and enhances that rather than creates a negative outcome. So kind of in summary, I think it's a good step forward. It's a good facility and good location. And as someone used earlier the comment, not perfect, but it's a really big step forward. It gives, I think, improved access, safety and comfort for passengers, really critical in terms of passenger transport growth. I think it actually does support the Riccarton Community Business Centre, if you like, in terms of growth in the long term, if you take that long-term view. It also suggests a way forward for other interchanges. And also tries to create a bit of some service continuity across the city. So when you're going from Central City through Riccarton to home or in the morning, there's potentially some new facilities there that look and feel much the same. And I guess in that respect, what I'd like to do is sort of as a parting finish, I guess, is encourage the council to look at a similar facility on the other side of the road that's within line of sight. So you've got a effectively kind of transport hub which services people both coming in and out of the city and across the city. Happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Okay, well, Jimmy Chen and then Yanni and then Paul.
One question. Based on your presentation, you particularly emphasize the benefit and the function of the bus, the passenger, the waiting lounge. But the key issue, problem is how to link the bus stop or bus interchange and the passengers, the kind of the waiting lounge. But right now, because last week I have a site visit, if in front of the 119 Riccarton Road, they have currently 8 car park space in there. So at the same time, only can bear for 2.5 bus stop in the area. But I also review the current bus stop in the car park of Westfield Mall. Currently, the distance length is can bear for 3 bus stop at the same time. And also they have space to extension to up to the 6 bus stop at the same time. At the moment, my understanding is quite heavy, the bus come and go, drive and pick up the people. So whether there's sufficient space for the bus stop in the proposed 119 Riccarton Road at the same time.
My understanding is the design that's being proposed around the bus stops allows 3 bus stops, so basically it's stop and go, which is what Nigel talked about. So the buses come in, they come up to the stop, they then load and they go. And there's sufficient room to allow them to get off the road without having tail swing and causing issues for other traffic, to be completely off the main road and then to get back out again after that. So as I understand it, it's a well-designed, slick operation from that perspective.
Yanni Johansson?
I've got several questions, but I'll keep it really quick.
Well, you've got 1 minute, so
Yep.
leave some time for an answer.
Thanks for the photos. They look like Riccarton Mall with a real-time information board, which is great. But the hubs and spokes model, what's your feedback that you've had from people around the convenience and the benefits or disbenefits of the hubs and spokes model?
I think there are a number of views. I'm not really sure I really want to spend time on that right now, if I may. I'd rather respond to a question about this interchange. I think it's critical we have good facilities along main corridors, and this is a core corridor for public transport in Christchurch. So, Papanui Road, Riccarton Road are key core corridors, and they should be well serviced, I think, regardless of how the model actually is designed.
12 seconds. We heard from Ross Griffiths, who managed the crossing centre in Central City, which had a hub and spoke model out on Colombo Street. Yep. I was, in my previous life, in the Business Association manager with Central City. We spent $1 million on that, getting that fit out done, and I can tell you it always appeared empty, and the people tended to be out on the street. Can you just make a quick comment on that?
I do, absolutely. I think that's really about having a co-location of activity, so retail and other activity associated with that, rather than isolated it separate from the rest of the community. That's right. I understand that. Thank you.
Or deputations on that issue. We'll now break for morning tea, but before we do, I'll just say that as I said, we will deal with this issue at the council meeting next week. We won't be receiving further deputations on the issue, and we will be in a position to consider additional information which we will request from staff as a result of the deputations that have been before us this morning. So thank you very much for that. If we could reconvene at 15 minutes past 11, so it allows 15 minutes for a cup of tea or coffee, and people are welcome to join us outside in the foyer. Thank you.